Equal ratio breathing. Samma Vittri Pranyama. Samma Vittri is a breathing pattern in which the inhalation and exhalation are equal in duration as well as intensity. Equal ratio breathing can be extended to include the kumbhakas, outer and inner retention, which is also called box breathing, square breathing, or four-part breathing. To avoid all confusion, I will refer to the equal ratio breathing of the inhalation and exhalation as Samavitri and call it box breathing when we add the breath retentions that are equal to the in and out breaths. Samma in Sanskrit means equal, and Vitri reflects to the fluctuations or modifications. Naturally, the exhalation is slightly longer than the inhalation, which gives the breath its natural variations. The mind can be turbulent like an ocean, and the ancient yogis believed that if we smoothed the fluctuations of the breath, then the thoughts would follow in equanimity and settle the waves of the mind. Creating a quality in the breath is a powerful way to regulate energy, either bringing excessive energy down or raising low energy levels to facilitate a balanced, more sattvic state. This balancing of energy works on our emotions to help calm and regulate mood swings or episodes of manic depression. The practice of Samavitri balances physical energy to ease agitation and restlessness or lift us out of lethargy, sluggishness, and fatigue. Samavitri is a basic breathing exercise in which we use a ratio of 1 to match the length of the inhalation and exhalation. For example, if the inhalation is 4 seconds, the exhalation is also 4 seconds. We can add Ujjayi Pranayama to help slow and regulate the breath count, which is helpful, especially when we lengthen the inhalation and exhalation. When we add the retention for box breathing, the ratio becomes 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. When we see a two-part breath ratio, example 1 to 1, as in Samavitri, the ratio is always the inhalation and the exhalation, since these are the minimum components of breathing. In a four-part ratio, example 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, the first number represents the inhalation, the second number the inward retention, the third number the exhalation, and the fourth number the outward retention. For any other ratio, the components will be clarified. For box breathing, if we use 4 for the ratio, we would inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. To avoid overbreathing in both Samavitri and box breathing, we inhale only as much as is necessary. A common mistake is to make every breath a full breath even if the ratio is a lower number. For example, if I take a full inhale for 4 seconds and a full exhale for 4 seconds, I am breathing 5 liters of air, which equals 37.5 liters of air per minute, when my normal resting rate is 7.5 liters over 15 breaths per minute. With this example, I am breathing 5 times as much as usual. Ideally, we want to keep the effort of the inhalation the same as our normal at-rest breath. A 4-second inhalation should only partially fill the lungs, and the exhalation shouldn't fully empty the lungs. A longer breath cycle also increases the depth of the inhalation and the force of the exhalation. We do the same thing for box breathing. The only difference is the added retention. Through my practice, I have noticed that all pranayama exercises and any type of conscious breathing, even rapid breathing exercises, can settle the mind as long as the intention is clear. What I find interesting with Samavitri, which is something I've noticed with other pranayama techniques, is how modern physiology supports the purpose and intention of the claims of the ancient breath practices. Of course, we do see a lot of pranayama dogma and unsupported claims of health benefits from various pranayama practices. To understand the benefits from the practices we use, we should be able to draw clearly definable lines between Eastern philosophy and Western physiology until both feel like they are saying the same things but in different languages and the claims are supported by science. The purpose of Samavitri is to create a sense of equanimity that moves us into a sattvic state. Sattva is the guna that expresses harmony and balance in the body, mind, and spirit. From a Western standpoint, we see sattva as the body's condition of homeostasis, where all the systems are in equilibrium. Having a high heart rate variability shows a healthy and balanced autonomic nervous system, good cardiovascular health, and a high ability to handle stress. High HRV is also an indication of our ability to switch gears quickly, either into a more energetic activity or to slow down, rest, and recover. Low heart rate variability is usually associated with chronic stress and poor health. Samavitri has been shown to increase heart rate variability. It's amazing that even a slight variation of our breathing can create noticeable physiological changes. A breath ratio of 5 to 5 has shown greater improvement in heart rate variability than a ratio of 4 to 6. Box breathing acts in the same way to increase heart rate variability. The main physiological benefits from the Samma, Vittri, and box breathing are similar. Changing the length of the retention or the method in which the breathing exercise is practiced alters these benefits. Matching the length of the inhalation and exhalation balances the autonomic nervous system, which brings us into a ready state that allows us to quickly up or down regulate the nervous system just by changing how we are breathing. We can move into a go state and create more sympathetic activation by lengthening the inhalation and shortening the exhalation. Or we can move into a rest state by extending the exhalation and shortening the inhalation, creating more parasympathetic tone as discussed earlier. But we can also work to move between the rest, ready, and go states gradually by changing the length of the breath ratio. Shorter ratios give us more sympathetic activation and we feel more energized, whereas longer ratios provide us with a more parasympathetic tone and we feel more relaxed. Overall, Samma Vittri is going to give a balanced autonomic nervous system and a sattvic state. Still, we can tip to either side or blend into being balanced and energized or balanced and calm. For example, a ratio of 3 to 3 is much more energizing than a ratio of 10 to 10. Also, the longer the ratio, the more kumbhaka effects we see and the benefits that come with breath retention. My favorite way to use Samma Vittri is to ramp it up or down, although this is not a traditional yogic application of the practice. Ramping up or down the breath ratios allows us to slowly titrate the effects of the breath practice and use it to gently increase or decrease energy. To ramp up, start with a ratio between 1 to 1 and 5 to 5 and increase by 1 with each breath cycle or every few cycles until you reach your upper limit for inhalation. Up to 10 to 10 is entry level. 10 to 10 to 10 to 15 is intermediate, and anything over 15 to 15 is advanced. Let's practice a ramp up and a ramp down. Come into a good posture that supports your breathing and is easy to maintain. Breathe naturally for a few rounds. Start with a breath ratio of 5 to 5 and increase by 1 to 1 every round until you reach 10 to 10, and then go back down by 1 to 1 and finish where you started. With the same effort of your natural inhalation, inhale for 5 seconds, then exhale for 5 seconds. You may add a soft ujjayi breath to help regulate the length of the breath. Inhale for 6 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Inhale for 7 seconds, and exhale for 7 seconds. As the breath gets longer, expand the depth and fullness of the breath, increasing the effort. Continue adding by 1 to 1 until you reach 10 seconds, and then work your way back down to a 5 to 5 ratio. You can ramp up or down box breathing in the same manner.